My innate gifts are more creative, strategic, people-centered, purpose-driven, and I'm not extremely competitive. And in 99.5% of situations, I can't be bought. Yes, I did say 99.5, honey. I told y'all earlier that I am a single mama, okay? So in certain situations, depending on the bankroll, depending on the bankroll. Hello, my loves, and welcome to the No Second Chances podcast, where we thrive by living an intentional and authentic lifestyle. I am your girl, your host, Shan Walker, and I'm so glad that you've decided to join me for today's episode. It's going to be about the difference between commonality versus alignment. If you haven't seen episodes 1 through 3, go check them out. But the most important one of those 3, as it pertains to this episode, is going to be episode 1. So I want to make sure you go watch episode 1 so you understand how to find out what your purpose is if you don't already know. I give you all the tea in that first episode on how to do that. Today, it's so important to understand the difference between people, places, and things that you are connected to versus the people, places, and things that you are aligned to. And the reason why it's so important is because in life, change is inevitable. Twists and turns are inevitable. And the only way to not lose your damn mind is to be able to understand what is for you and what is not for you, and how these different changes, twists and turns, ebbs and flows plays a part in you reaching your ultimate destiny. To say that this year has been one of the hardest years of my life is an understatement. I always strive to be very transparent with you all so that when you hear me say that you are not alone, you know that it's not a gimmick, right? It's not clickbait. It's the real deal, because I'm going through it with you. And if I'm not going through it with you, I've already been through it and have found my way out. And now I can help you navigate your way out. So for that reason, we're going to get into a little bit of my business today, okay? I am currently experiencing a season of shedding where things that I wasn't anticipating no longer being in my life are flying out the door, dropping like flies. And I honestly have been taking it one day at a time so that I don't lose my mind. But the only things that have kept me sane through all of the change and tribulation that I've experienced in the last, I'm gonna call it 6 months, is my faith and my ability to do alignment compatibility. And we'll get into that a little bit later. Knowing that God is the author of my life and that He has never failed me in the past gives me faith to know that He will carry me in the present and in the future. Doing an alignment fit helps me to be able to strategically stabilize in a time where there have been so many unexpected shifts and changes within my life. Normally, the first of many feelings after experiencing unexpected changes or shifts in your life are confusion and anxiety. Faith solves for both of these things. For confusion, faith in God teaches us to lean not to our own understanding, but trust that God has a bigger plan for our lives than what we are currently experiencing and what we can see or possibly even imagine. For anxiety, whether it's self-provoked or just a circumstance of our experiences, God has the final say in all of it and makes sure that it works out for His greater good. Anxiety is literally fear-based. It's all fear of what you don't know or what you think you know that hasn't even occurred yet. I recently lost my corporate job during a time where the unemployment market is volatile, where Black women are losing jobs at lightning speed and are among the highest, if not the highest, group of people who have been affected by layoffs and sudden unemployment. Adding this on top of traumatic grief, a large unexpected expense, and the plight of being the sole financial provider as a single mother is the perfect recipe for a paralyzing gumbo of anxiety, depression, and analysis paralysis. But God. by just taking one look, one retrospective look at all of the things that God has brought me through, like the end of an anticipated lifelong friendship, calling off a paid wedding and engagement, housing and job uncertainty, and various forms of death and grief. One look at the things that I have survived, and it helps me to let go of the anxiety of the things that I don't know and hold fast to what I do know. What I do know is that God's grace is sufficient for any obstacle that tries to shake me because my roots are firmly planted. Though the pain of losing loved ones by death, whether be it from age, illness, or tragedy, that pain will never cease. However, the lessons that I've learned and the way my character has been built and stretched are all for the greater good of God's ultimate purpose for my life. When I am processing the things that I'm experiencing, I try to use a phrase to help ground myself in those moments. Is this happening to me or for me? Is this happening to you or for you? Which leads us into our first segment of the day, shenanigans. I'm going to give you some different scenarios from my life. This is where you get to get in and get the tea on the strife that I've been going through. And I'll show you how I used the to me or for me phrase to help ground myself and keep moving forward. I already told you that I lost my job. I worked in sales. I hated working in sales. Don't tell nobody. I loathed it. Literally could not stand working in sales. My innate gifts are more creative, strategic, people-centered, purpose-driven, and I'm not extremely competitive. And in 99.5% of situations, I can't be bought. Yes, I did say 99.5, honey. I told y'all earlier that I am a single mama, okay? So in certain situations, depending on the bankroll, depending on the bankroll, you know, I might be bought. But 99.5% of the time, I can't be bought. And even that other 0.5% of the time, some stuff is just not even in the category of being bought. So I'll say that. But I got in sales as a way, or tech sales specifically, as a way to enter the tech industry so that I could learn more about the different operational procedures that it takes to run software or to create software. Again, I hated sales, but this was a way to get in. This was my foot in the door. And I've been doing that for the last 4 years. Recently, this summer, I finally realized what it is in corporate America through tech that I could do that would actually allow me to use more of my innate gifts. 2 months ago, actually, well, 3 months now. 3 months ago, I declared, thanks to my friend, she made me declare it. I declared that this would be my last year working in sales. So to lose my job in sales 2 months after I made that declaration, I don't think that's coincidental. And not only did I lose my job, but I was blessed to be able to receive a severance, which is money to help float me until the next job, not indefinitely, but a good amount of time to float me until I get my next opportunity or until I land my next opportunity. But not only that, getting that severance allowed me time to prepare for a pivot because I didn't want to do sales, right? So now it's time to pivot to the thing that I want to do. So this time that I have, that I've been granted, allows me to be able to get new certifications to boost my resume, take time to do interviews with other people who are already in those roles and get tips and tricks on how to prepare to move into that field, and take any additional courses or things like that that I might need or feel that would be helpful for me to feel more confident moving into this field. So yeah, I got laid off, but did it happen to me or did it happen for me? All right, dating. I called off my paid wedding and ended my engagement. I also ended the possibility of my son having a 2-parent home with his biological parents. That was never a part of my plan. But when I thought about the kind of love that I wanted and the kind of marriage that I wanted in comparison to what I was experiencing at the moment, they didn't compare. Did the breakup happen to me or for me? Friendships that make it from your preteen years well into adulthood are considered to be lifelong. It never even crosses your mind that these people will no longer or at some point not be in your life if they are still breathing, right? They are often seen as safe havens through the good, bad, and ugly of your life. They're the people that you turn to knowing that you'll be received with love, respect, and not be judged. There is a difference between friends that hold you accountable in love and with respect, and those that judge you and no longer feel like a safe space. So even if a friendship that you expected to go the distance ends, but no longer served you or was no longer mutually beneficial, did their actions happen to you or for you to see them for who they no longer are to you? Death is the anomaly in these categories because it definitely happened to me, okay? And the effects of it are still happening to me. But the effects, or some of the effects, are also happening for me. When you are surviving the unimaginable, there is a fearlessness that comes along with it. Because if that didn't take me out and I'm still standing, my faith in God increased and my faith in my own endurance increases, yeah, it absolutely did happen to me, but there are some things that came out of it that happened for me. And then, we got our girl, Belcalis, Cardi B. Sis dropped her new album after we've been waiting on this album for 7 years since she dropped her first one, which is a banger. And this new one is also a banger. So if you haven't listened to it, please check it out. But sis went through a divorce, then found new love. Now she's in the middle of rap beef. And then sis is also pregnant. Sis got a lot going on. As far as the divorce, she was dealing with infidelity and publicly, and who else knows what, in that previous marriage for so long. And so while it might have been hard for her to let go, and once she decided to let him go, she opened up the door for opportunity and found her a new boo, okay? With Stefan Diggs. From what she says, she feels very loved and appreciated and adored by this man. So I hope that continues for her. Now, she also got pregnant by this man. And you know what? She's a grown-ass woman. She can do what she wants to. There are many opinions online about sis, okay, yes, move on, new love. Did you have to get pregnant? Did that happen for you? Or did it happen to you, sis, and you kind of slipped up? But I feel like all is well that ends well. So she has the means to take care of a baby, whether that's with the man that she fathered it with, or whether she has to do that on her own as a single mother. We wish her all the best with her pregnancy and that she has a healthy baby, because she is certainly under a lot of stress with all of the opinions that are flooding on the internet and these corny rap beefs that she has going on with Nicki Minaj and JT. First of all, the way she flamed JT on her album, I would not even address her. Literally, I would act like whatever song she drops, which was trash, by the way, JT, I'm sorry, sis, get back in the booth. Whatever comments that JT's making online, baby, I let it fly over, honey. You can't mess with that diss track that she has on her album towards JT. And then Nicki Minaj, baby, y'all need to do a wellness check on Nicki Minaj, because clearly sis is not okay. She is not okay, and she hasn't been for a while. She is another one where I would definitely pay her in silence. Cardi B is not gaining anything by beefing with them. If anything, Nicki Minaj and JT are getting the attention from feuding with Cardi B. So sis, that ain't even for you. That's happening to you, and you entertaining it is allowing it to happen to you. So leave that alone, okay? It's not for you. And that's gonna conclude today's shenanigans. Just because we have things in common with people or are familiar with a certain set of beliefs or ways of life, it doesn't mean that we are in alignment with it. Now, I'm Tech Bay from around the way, because I'm literally from around the way. Shout out to College Park, Georgia, always. However, just because I grew up in an urban environment doesn't mean I have to stay there or keep certain mindsets that reflect a mindset of lack. I can keep the grit, the positive sense of community and camaraderie forged in those environments, and have empathy and offer support for those still trapped in the trenches or in that frame of thinking. Where I was is not where I'm going, baby. And in order to elevate, you have to leave behind certain things or people that no longer align with your purpose and your future. And that's okay. Now, I'm gonna give you an example of the difference between having something in common with someone and being aligned with someone. Let's say that you are a young woman and you are in a grocery store on a grocery aisle buying the same groceries as another young woman of the same nationality, around the same age, and she's buying the same groceries. You ask her what meal she's cooking, and she's cooking the same meal that you are preparing for a large group of people. Same nationality, same grocery store, same aisle, buying the same groceries to make the same meal. Y'all have a whole lot in common. For the same amount of people too, right? A whole lot in common. But what you don't know is she's making this meal for a boyfriend that doesn't really like her and his family that doesn't really care for her. She's making this meal to gain their love and their acceptance. Meanwhile, me or you're buying this meal to feed the hungry or the homeless so you can show compassion and help others in need out of the kindness of your heart and out of benevolence and philanthropy. You all are the same age, same nationality, in the same grocery store, in the same aisle, buying the same groceries to make the same meal for the same amount of people. But the reason why you're doing this, the reason why you're creating these meals or preparing to cook these meals are completely different. So though you have so much in common, in all actuality, you aren't aligned. Commonality is more so based on description, and alignment is actually purpose-based. It's all about the why. We must take inventory of the nouns, the people, the places, the things in our lives that don't align with who we are and where we're going. Which leads us to our next segment, Tech Bay from around the way. Today, I'm going to give you a prompt to help you create an alignment checklist. This alignment checklist is gonna help you take inventory of your life and whether it needs to stay or you need to get it the hell out of there, okay? The prompt is as follows. Create an alignment inventory checklist categorized by people, decisions, and thought processes, whether personal or professional. Create this list by first asking me a series of questions to identify what alignment in my present and future life looks like with the inventory categories given. Now, once you create this list, you have something to compare and contrast as you are going through the ebbs and flows of your life to help you determine whether somebody is in alignment or whether they are out, whether a job is serving you or it's not, whether a certain thought frame or belief is serving you or it's not. And that's it from your Tech Bay from around the way. Now that's actually the easy part. It's easy to put the blame on other people and our circumstances for how we are showing up in difficult times. But how do you hold yourself accountable to your own purpose when you are in the throes of life? Me personally, I have a 3-point self-check that I do to help ground myself. Listen, if you take nothing else from this episode, this is what you need to write down, okay? This is chef's kiss. This 3-point checklist helps me to make sure that I'm showing up as myself in all situations and have owned my responsibilities in any area of conflict management. So this 3-point self-check begins with point 1, which is my identity. It's a review of my identity in this moment or in any given situation. Have I behaved or spoken in a way that is out of alignment with who I know myself to be or who I'm trying to be or who I am working to become? Point 2, clarifying and communicating my intention. What was my intention in this scenario? Did my behavior reflect that intention? And if not, did I clarify my intention? Point 3, accountability, empathy, and reconciliation. If I answered no to any of the questions in point 1 or point 2, I need to take accountability for that, express empathy to the circumstance or situation and experience that it caused and offer an apology and seek reconciliation. So for an example, point 1, my identity. Have I behaved or spoken in a way that is out of alignment with who I am or who I am striving to be. Did you cuss them out, Chandra? No, I didn't. Okay, all right. Did you say anything disrespectful? No, I didn't. Okay. How was your tone? My tone could have been better. Okay, all right. Point 2, clarifying and communicating intention. Listen, I didn't mean to come off aggressive. I know my tone was not pleasant in what I said. I want to be clear on what my intention was. I was trying to express how Exhibit A made me feel like Exhibit B. Okay, got it? All right, clarify your intention so that despite what happened, it is clear what your actual intention was. All right, and then you move to point 3, accountability, empathy, reconciliation. Again, I was wrong for the tone that I took with you. It was disrespectful. I could have been taking a better tone, or I apologize for my tone. It did come off very aggressive. I do understand how my messaging could have been received in the wrong way. I apologize for any confusion that this has caused. I do value Exhibit A's Exhibit B. How do you suggest we move forward? Or what is the best way that we can do better and move forward for the future? You know, it's really just all about being accountable for yourself, but you can't expect to hold other people accountable if you don't even know how to hold yourself accountable. If I have answered yes to all the questions in points 1 and 2, and there isn't anything left for me to be accountable for or show empathy towards, then resolution in this matter is no longer my responsibility. Catch that. I have shown up in a way that aligns with who God has called me to be and who I know myself to be. I've clarified and communicated my intentions and shown empathy where warranted, and possibly offered an apology for perceived misconception. That's just me. I'm just gonna go the extra mile, right? If I care. And if there is still an issue after my self-checks, it is not my issue to bear. Even if it was my issue, right? Even if I did cause an issue, if I still went through the 3 steps and I took accountability, shown empathy, and tried to reconcile, and there's still an issue, then it's not my issue anymore. It's off my back. Got it? Sweat's off my back. And it's on yours, okay? Trying to force resolution that isn't mine to bear puts me out of my own alignment, and it's taking voluntary ownership of stress that is not mine to carry. Free yourself, like our sis Fantasia say, okay? Free yourself. That is my 3-point self-checklist, okay? 1, did I sway or abandon my identity? 2, did I clarify and communicate my intention? 3, if I answer no to any of the first 2 points, then I need to express accountability, empathy, and reconciliation. That's it. Now, don't be out here being heathens. Now you can't say you didn't know the right way to handle this situation. Now you do, okay? Now for my favorite segment, Music to My Ears. For today's Music to My Ears, the featured artist is Isaiah Haran. I have been obsessed with Isaiah Haran's new album, Concubania, which is where I discovered him. Someone played a single of his called I Chose You, and I immediately loved it. Then I went and checked out the album, and now I'm addicted to the album. It was just my luck, because I was like, oh my gosh, I love this album so much. Let me see if he's going on tour anytime soon. Literally 2 weeks later, he was performing in Atlanta. What are the odds? And so, of course, I immediately grabbed my ticket. He performed at aisle 5 in Little 5 Points and shut it down. Sold out show. The energy was insane. The crowd was singing like a paid choir. The way he commanded the energy and engaged with the crowd was amazing. There was even a proposal on stage to an amazing new single with Kehlani called See Right Through Me. Definitely check that one out. But today's feature on Music to My Ears is I Chose You by Isaiah Haran. I hope you enjoy this as much as I do. One thing's for certain, 2 things for sure. Nothing like a job loss to make you think about whether you really want to go back to work. And you really only have the option to think of that if you have what I like to call, and other millennials that I know like to call, FU money. That's right. Welcome to Millennial Coded. Honey, if life was but a dream, I would not have to find another job. How about that? I would not have to worry about losing a job. But I have a child to feed and my money is not yet at FU status. I am still in the hunt for new employment, but I'm excited about it because this new pivot and new career path that I'm on is so fitting for me. So I'm looking forward to jumping right into that. However, if you are like me and you don't want to work forever or don't want to retire in your 60s, you're going to have to come up with a plan, a financial plan to help you get to retirement sooner, or as we like to call it, FU money. What's your FU money plan? Honestly, whether you're saying FU to a job or whether you're saying FU to a relationship where your spouse is controlling the money and you have no say so and you just have to go along with it. How much money do you need to say FU to that relationship and be independent and, rediscover yourself on your own terms? That's what you need to figure out. While we would like to just scream FU and live as we please, we first need to make sure that we have the necessary FU plan in place to say sayonara to the things that no longer serve us.
For our generation, the millennials, financial independence isn't just a flex, it's survival. We've seen layoffs, recessions, inflation, and student loans that look like house notes. hmm So, if we're going to play this capitalism game, we need to learn how to play it strategically. That's what this image is. 7 money rules everyone should know. Let's break those down real quick, but in plain English. All right. Number one, the 50-30-20 rule. Budget like a boss, baby. Half your money covers your needs. That's your 50. Okay. Rent, food, utilities, mortgage, whatever you want to call it. 30% goes to your wants. Soft life, brunches, travel, you know. And then the 20% goes to your future self. So that's investments, debt payoff, and savings. Now, depending on how aggressive you are in debt, you might need to flip that 30-20. As far as like 30 for your soft life, girl, and you can't even afford to pay your credit cards down, your life need to be a little hard right now. Okay. But when you can and when you're ready and when you can get that debt down to a manageable place, or if you have not built up a savings, which we'll get to in a moment, then the soft life need not be your focus. Okay. And so the standard is the 50-30-20 rule with this 50% to your needs, 30% to your wants, 20% for your investments, debt payoff, and savings. Again, if you don't have a savings and if you have a lot of debt, then you might need to be doing a 50-10-40. Okay. Now, on to your emergency savings fund or your peace fund. 3 to 6 months. You need 3 to 6 months of your expenses in cash in a high yield savings account. So, one bad month financially, or an unexpected expense, or a layoff, or one I quit moment won't break you. That's going to be your FU Money Starter Edition. You know how it is. Your car might break down unexpectedly. Hell, my washer and dryer went out right after I got laid off. So you just always want to have 3 to 6 months of expenses in cash available to assist you for the unexpected and also for your peace of mind. Rule number 4, the 2 times investing rule. Match your splurge energy. If you drop $200 on sneakers, cool, invest $200 in something that appreciates. You bought that new bag from Louis, match that in your investment account. If you're going to splurge once, splurge twice to make sure that you're putting money back into your pocket. You're still investing into yourself. That's a good rule. And I don't always do that. So it's a good reminder to get it together. The goal isn't to stop enjoying your life, it's to make your lifestyle pay you back. Okay. Rule number 5, the 30% rent rule. It says rent, but also it could be the same thing for mortgage. Your rent or mortgage should be no more than 30% of your income. But let's be real, that's not always realistic in 2025. So here's the hack. If you are currently above 30%, balance it out with roommates, side income, like a side business, or digital assets. Number six is the 24-10 rule. Okay. That's 20, number four. Okay. The 24-10 rule. Don't let your car own you. Okay. I got this one. This one is an important one because, people love a car. People love to use the type of car they drive as a symbol of status. 20% down. Four is the 4 years maximum on financing, and 10 is the percentage of your income maximum on the car note. If you're over that, it's not a car, it's a liability, okay, with leather seats, tinted windows, and a moonroof, okay? And you don't want a liability. Y'all see Shan, she likes to get dressed up. She likes to look good. She likes to be so cute, okay? And I am still pushing my 2017 Honda Civics EXT, okay? Cherry red with my sunroof, my moonroof, and my heated seats that is paid off, baby. Paid and in the shade, baby. And it's got a dent in it that I can't afford to get fixed. I don't know why I haven't got that fixed, but whatever. Neither here nor there. The point is, don't let your car own you. Use the 20% down if you're getting a new car, new or used car. 4 years maximum if you have to finance it, and then let it only account for 10% of your income max as far as the car note. All right, lastly, rule of 72. This is your money math shortcut. Take 72, divide it by your investment's return rate. That's how long it'll take to double. So, for example, 72 divided by 10 equals 7.2 years to double your money at 10%, right? Get your out of corporate jail free card by knowing the rule of 72 when it comes to investing. If you're currently working for a company and they are matching your 401k, if y'all are all around my age, which is right 39 and 40, we need to be maxing out our 401k contribution. Max it out.
All right, and the last thing we have to do is go over a question. I got a question for Q&A. I'm excited about it. So for today's Q&A, it is from Deanna, and I'm not going to give her email address, but Deanna says, Shan, I lean toward more of a skeptic than an optimist. How can I determine whether this is a good thing or if I need to be more open to possibility? Well, Deanna, you are not alone in this. I'm going to say, in deciding whether to be a skeptic or an optimist, you probably want to shoot somewhere in the middle. Balance is the key to life. I say that all the time. You don't want to be too much of a skeptic where you close yourself off to opportunities, new experiences, and unexpected blessings that you don't know of because you're so guarded. But in the same sense, you also don't want to be too optimistic where you're seeing things with rose-colored glasses and you're being taken advantage of because you aren't seeing things for what they are, or you become heartbroken because you are caught off guard or just flabbergasted by the way things turned out. Not because you shouldn't have seen them coming, but because you chose not to. You chose to see the optimism. I think a good tip for staying and towing the line, staying somewhere in the gray area between optimism and skepticism is one, first, be realistic. Like, you have to be able to look at a thing for what it is right now today. Look at it and tell yourself, this is what the situation is today. If nothing ever changes, this is what it is today. You can make a choice to choose optimism, right? This is what it is today. However, I want to believe that there is a possibility that X, Y, and Z can happen. I have hope that things will get better. I trust God that X, Y, and Z, right? But the key to that is that balance. You still have to be able to see a thing for what it is. If your hopes and your wishes never come true, you still had a realistic view of what the situation was as it were. That's my tip. Don't choose either. Find a happy medium and, choose joy, but just be realistic about it. And so that's it for our episode about commonality and alignment. I hope that you caught some gems this episode that you might not have thought of before, or that really blessed you and have inspired you to create a FU budget, to do an alignment checklist. Go use that prompt and use that alignment checklist to make sure you're cleaning house. And also that you do that 3-point self-check to make sure your house is clean, okay? Before you sweep around somebody else's doorstep, you got to sweep around your own. That's what the old folks say. So make sure that you are doing what you have to do to hold yourself accountable and to make sure that you are walking in your purpose and in alignment with what God has for you. That is all. I'll see y'all next time. Thank you.